fix it.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to North Shore Live, Cooper's Corner. We're live this evening, a rather muggy evening, but this is June the 25th. The month is almost over. I don't know where summer is. I don't know what happened to spring. I do remember winter, though, very clearly. Anyway, I hope everything was okay with all, with a little bit of a tornado watch that we had here in Lake County. And I know we received a lot of rain, and a lot of viaducts were flooded. This is just in the past a couple of days. Everything is now dry, well, semi-dry, and we probably will be getting more rain very shortly. I don't know what to say, except this is Illinois, and better than being in Oklahoma, in Tornado Alley, or in California with mudslides, forest fires, earthquakes, or Florida with the ground opening up and everything falling through. I'm so sorry for everyone who has suffered Mother Nature, but that means out of our control, which is true. It is out of our control. We have all we can do to just stay alive, provide for our families, be happy, and look to the future. Hopefully, the future will be bright and clear and sunny, and no tornadoes or the ground opening up and swallowing houses, homes, and streets, lampposts, and cars. This evening's program, I need to tell you, is a very special program, and we appreciate the fact that Mr. Amu has come here to tell his story, and you will hear from his mouth his story. This hour is absolutely directed to Mr. Amu, who is, by the way, a holder of four different degrees, and he has a Bachelor of Civil Engineering, and then from University of Minnesota in 1984 has a Master of Civil Engineering, and then also from the University of Minnesota in 1985 an MBA, and from the University of Illinois in 1989 a JD, Judicial Doctorate, and from the state of Illinois. And we want to bring this to your attention because Mr. Amu feels that he has been deeply hurt by the corruption that has filtered into the court system here in Illinois. And his statement is this is an attorney that was wrongfully suspended for exposing the judicial corruption in Illinois. And so, without any further ado, I would like to, let me just see, introduce Mr. Amu, who is a Nigerian national and has graced the state of Illinois with his brilliance, his intellect, his intelligence, his kindness, his compassion for humanity, all. And one more thing, let me just read. His statement is on the back of his card. My law license was suspended based on false accusations. This is unjust. I can provide evidence of this even tomorrow. I would appreciate any assistance towards getting my law license and ID back as soon as possible. It says, evil can only prevail when good people do nothing in times like this. And then he thanks you, and he has his website, www.lanre, LANREAMU.com. So now, without any further ado, please help me welcome Mr. Mu. Welcome and to the program.
Thank you.
And I'm so sorry for whatever troubles that you have been caused, but this is your time to be able to speak to the public and let them know what you have been going through and how this all came about. And that's it. Now you've got it.
Thank you, Ms. Cooper. My name is Lanre, and to begin with, I'm extremely grateful for this opportunity in providing me a venue to state my case. I am very grateful for that. I came to the United States back in 1982, and I have lived here ever since that time. I am first and foremost a human being who is entitled to all of the rights and privileges. We went to law school with the desire to improve society. At least that's why I went to law school. And the notion was to go get a law degree and make your own contribution to society. One important thing that I learned in law school are the Bill of Rights, the First Amendment right to freedom of speech, freedom of the press, the right to petition the government for redress of grievances. But what we're now learning, which I'm learning after 16 years of practice, is that once you become a licensed lawyer in Illinois, your right to speak concerning what you see going on in the court system is curtailed. And if you expose what is going on in the court system, they are going to pull your law license. They are going to suspend you, or they may even disbar you. On August 6, 2013, I was at Davenport bus station having attended a legal proceedings on behalf of a couple of clients when I received a telephone call from a clerk of the Illinois Supreme Court. The message I heard, I could not believe. The lady at the other end at the Illinois Supreme Court told me in no uncertain terms that an order was entered on that day that I must stop practicing law immediately. I couldn't believe it. On that day, I represented over 200 clients. And nobody told me the justification for this. On that day, I was 51 years old, never committed a crime. I've never been guilty of a crime. I mean, I have not done anything that I could tell within my conscience would warrant such drastic action taken against me. I was told that I would get an order in the mail substantiating what I was told on the phone. And then a couple days later, I got an order in the mail, and it said the same thing, that I was to stop practicing law in the state of Illinois. What was the reason? Essentially, the reason is that they claimed that I made false statements concerning the integrity of judges in 4 complaints that I filed within a 9-year period. 4 statements concerning the integrity of judges within a 9-year period. And you may want to ask me, what are these complaints? Well, As a lawyer who has been practicing in Illinois, I represent everyday people in their affairs in court. And as a person of conscience, if something happens that you believe that this really should not be happening because it's not in the best interest of the people of Illinois, there is an obligation and there is a duty to make a record of it, to report it to someone. Those are the things that I did. In 4 instances, I penned a complaint and I put it in.
To the ARDC?
Oh, no, not the ARDC. To the Judicial Inquiry Board or to the Appellate Court.
Oh.
The ARDC deals with lawyers.
Yes.
The 4 complaints that I made concern
Judges. Judges, okay.
So those complaints I made to authorities within the court system, either to the appellate court, or I made a complaint to the chief judge, or I made a complaint to the Judicial Inquiry Board. Those are the complaints that they claim they have to suspend my law license because the complaints that I made false statements in those complaints. And I say, that's not true. In essence, it's a way for the system to shut you down. When you say Judge X did ABC, ARDC comes in and says, Mr. Mu, you are lying that Judge X did ABC. I mean, and I said, what do you mean I'm lying? Were you there? So in a nutshell, that is why I am in the situation I am in. First and foremost, before anyone can take a lawyer's license, there's got to be a complaint, a valid complaint filed against the lawyer.
And do you have to have notification?
Yes. As at today, no lawyer, no judge ever filed a complaint against me saying I made a false statement.
We're almost a year into that suspension.
Yes.
August will be a year for that suspension.
Right. Ms. Cooper, I was suspended for 3 years on the basis that I made false statements concerning 4 judges whom I accused of corruption. Mind you, the judges were aware of my statements because it would be unfair of me to write statements about the judge and not give the judge so the judge can rebut what I'm saying.
Okay.
Each of those statements I gave those judges, and they never said anything.
Nothing to the contrary.
They never filed a complaint anywhere that I made false statements against them.
Are they still sitting on the bench?
They are still, some have retired.
Okay.
Some are still sitting on the bench. But these judges did not file any complaint against me. In fact, when I received ARDC's complaint without a complainant, when I received the complaint saying, this is ARDC, you are making false statements against these judges, I was relieved. I was happy that, okay, we're going to get to the bottom of this matter at this point. So I said, okay, let's go about it. When is the trial? When is the hearing date and all of that? And in trying to defend myself, I asked of ARDC, who filed a complaint against me?
Fair question.
Nobody.
Then why are you there?
ARDC, were you there when these things happened? No, you were not there. So what's all of this other than harassing me for exposing what's going on in the court system? Okay? You know what I did next? I subpoenaed the judges and the lawyers. that were there concerning the incidents
That's right.
I
As you're
wrote
talking.
about.
Okay.
The judges filed motions in the Illinois Supreme Court saying that the justices of the Illinois Supreme Court should quash my subpoena because they have a privilege and immunity that I shouldn't be able to get into their heads as to how they are thinking about deciding cases. And I said, well, there is more at issue here than just getting into your head as to how you're deciding cases. I am being accused of making false statements against you. You need to come forward under oath.
Under oath, okay.
And tell me which of my statements
Are false, yeah.
is false.
Okay. So,
Tell me to my face.
and?
And they ran to the 7 justices of the Illinois Supreme Court, saying that the justices should quash my subpoena because they have nothing to say. And you know what? The 7 justices of the Illinois Supreme Court quashed my subpoena, saying that I cannot have the judges whom they said I am making false statements about come and testify under oath as to my statements and tell me whether or not my statements are false. But the issue is my statements are the truth. They cannot face me.
But no one has signed a complaint against you.
None. Nobody can, because you cannot compromise the truth.
Of course not.
The truth is there, and if they couldn't possibly. And believe me, judges are powerful, and they know their power. If I make a false statement against a judge in Cook County, I will be sanctioned. I can be jailed.
Jail?
The judge can sue me for defamation. None of these things. I never went into a courtroom to engage in name calling. I have never abused any person. Other than I went into a courtroom, I saw corruption taking place, and I said, well, this is not right. And as a person of conscience, I wrote down the complaint.
Good.
And I passed it on to authorities,
Okay.
clearing my own involvement, clearing my own conscience, that somebody should have some responsibility to deal with this.
Okay.
And in return, I get slapped in the face with a complaint lying against a judge.
You did the honorable thing,
Absolutely.
and they took retribution out on you for doing the honorable thing.
Right.
What are they afraid of?
They must be afraid of something.
They are afraid.
And the actions of the Illinois Supreme Court justices is very disappointing. Because if you look at this court system, it's a pyramid. Everyone should look to them to set the policy, to set the standard. What they have done in my case is a disgrace. With all due respect, it is a disgrace. First, in similar cases in which lawyers have been accused of making false statements against a judge, where the judges know that they are not exposed, they do come in to testify.
Okay.
And in my letter to the Illinois Supreme Court, my letter dated June 16, 2014, I gave 2 cases there. The case of Theis and John Donne, in which judges actually came in flesh and blood to testify at the ARDC, in which lawyers came in flesh and blood to testify at the ARDC. So there is more required of a judge other than getting into a judge's head as to how they are deciding cases. In my case, they chose not to appear because they didn't want to embarrass themselves, expose themselves to prosecution.
Expose. The exposure is that's the key thing.
Right. The other thing, I told you, the judges moved to quash.
And they did.
The lawyers also moved to quash. But what's the basis for quashing the lawyers? The Illinois Supreme Court quashed all of the lawyers, all of my subpoenas to the lawyers for the same thing. There is no, and in this case, there is no immunity saying that a lawyer cannot come and testify to what happened in his or her presence.
Okay.
So, as you can see, I am accused of making false statements against these judges over a 9-year period. In defending myself, I subpoenaed the judges and the lawyers to come and testify under oath. And believe me, they can still defeat me in a trial. For example, if they came to the trial and lied, of course, it's who they believe.
This is true.
A person can lie in a trial, and the wrong person can be convicted or found guilty.
This is also true.
Yes.
We know this.
Right. But you see, what they are doing is they are avoiding taking the oath at all.
They're avoiding you completely.
They are avoiding because they know what the outcome is going to be. That I'm going to be suspended anyways. They don't need to bother with that. So a trial date was set. It was in 2012, somewhere in December. Can you guess how many people were at the trial?
I know because I called some friends and I said, we need your assistance. And they came down in droves. There was standing room only. I know, Mr. Amu, I am so happy and so proud because I contacted the right people to be there because we feel that this may be a situation of discrimination. And so that's why I called.
Okay. And I think you're referring to the appellate hearing, oral argument.
Yes.
The actual trial happened about a year before that.
Before, okay.
At the trial, I was the only witness. I was the only witness. There was no one testifying against me other than we had an ARDC lawyer who did not know anything about what I was talking about. And we have 3 hearing officers appointed by ARDC who were simply stooges to hang me. They were henchmen for ARDC anyways. There was nothing I was saying
that's going to make a difference. No. It's a kangaroo court.
We have to apologize to the kangaroos.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Mr. Kangaroo.
This is worse than a kangaroo court.
Worse than a kangaroo court, okay.
You know, not knowing how corrupt ARDC is, I left the hearing. It was a 2-day hearing. I was the only witness, and I brought 3 character witnesses. 2 are my pastors who have known me collectively over 20 years, and 2 of the 3 are lawyers too, who have known me collectively over 20 years, to vouch for my character as a person. And they vouch that they don't know me to make false statements against people. I left the 2-day hearing thinking that this was over, that the matter was going to be dismissed. I didn't know what I was in for. 6 months later, I opened my mail.
Surprise.
To get the result saying that they had a 38-page boilerplate. They just take these things, you know.
It's the same thing. They just put your name on it. That's right. They just
put my name in front of it.
Yep, and then it was the same thing, yeah.
Saying that I made false statements concerning the integrity of these 4 judges over a 9-year period, and that they are afraid that I'm going to continue to do that and that I should be suspended from the practice of law for 3 years. I couldn't believe what I was reading. I mean, who said I made false statements? You were not there. You are just lawyers just as I am. You are no more educated than I am.
No.
You are no more honest than I am. You're no more ethical than I am. So on what basis are you hearing from me concerning a matter in which you did not witness, and then you conjure the fact that I am lying? It's a slap in the face. It's a means of covering up corruption in the court system.
Oh, absolutely.
It means that if you as a lawyer see something wrong within the court system, you're not supposed to say anything. And mind you, maybe I didn't make it clear. If we go to the genesis of this, it's true that in the first place, if you see something wrong, you don't go to the media immediately, or you don't publish anything on the internet. That's not my practice. Important thing is, if you see something wrong in the court system, especially when you have a client who put their lives in your hand, their life issues in your hand, and you are a person of conscience, and because these people know what's going on because they are there, and you need to clear your own conscience. The first thing is you report to maybe the chief judge, a supervising judge, or something.
A presiding judge.
Right.
Yeah.
Can you ask me what happens when I did all those things?
And so, what happened?
You might as well be wasting your time.
What do you mean, wasting your time?
They will take your complaints.
And?
Apparently, it seems the moment you walk out, they just throw it in the garbage. Nothing ever happens from all the complaints.
You didn't get a reply back?
One, I did get a letter once from Chief Judge Evans, who was the Chief Judge of the court.
Timothy Evans, he's still there.
He
Yes.
categorically told me that, he is limited. His powers are limited.
As a chief
As
judge?
the chief judge, he is simply an administrative head. He doesn't get involved with anything concerning what I'm complaining about.
I've never heard
That I
that.
should seek. Well, I got a letter from him stating that categorically. I can look for the letter and bring it back, and I'm sure the chief judge is not going to deny that. So that he is simply an administrative head of the judges.
So he's a figurehead. He's not really an actual sitting judge to be able to make a decision on the people in his courtroom that are corrupt, that are lying, that are treacherous to the human life that's coming in and going out of the courtroom?
That's what he told me. And he told me that I should seek other legal recourse. And then after that, I have filed a complaint with the appellate court system. That's the higher court.
Yes.
Because some of these things, first you have the illusion that a higher court should be able to see what's going on in a lower court and correct it. But believe me, it's an illusion. It doesn't happen.
Doesn't exist.
In my experience, the appellate court, in many cases, once they see that this is a matter of corruption that may expose a lower level judge, they're going to cover it up. They're going to close ranks. That is my experience in many cases. That's route number 2. The next route I tried, Judicial Inquiry Board.
Okay.
That's supposed to be a board in which if something is going on, you think there's a misconduct or corruption,
You call it to the
involving
attention.
a judge,
Yeah.
you file a complaint with the Judicial Inquiry Board.
Okay.
I found out also, if you file a complaint concerning these types of matters with the Judicial Inquiry Board, in Illinois, you're simply wasting your time. The complaint, most of the complaints eventually end up in the waste paper basket.
With no reply?
They may, once I got a call from Wade Crossing, who is an investigator there, well, that's about all you will get. Nothing more. Then you may get a letter, a boilerplate letter some 6 months later that your complaint is unfounded.
Unfounded.
They never take sworn statements from anyone. They never set up any hearing. It's essentially they just throw it in the waste paper basket.
So what other steps have you taken then? You went to the appellate court.
Right. The appellate court will simply find a way around it. The Judicial Inquiry Board, you know, when I noticed what was happening at the JIB, Judicial Inquiry Board, I now try to find out what is the board about. I found out that the people that are in the board themselves are judges.
Of course.
So
you're trying to have a judge tell on another judge about a situation that's corruption, that Illinois is famously known for, is corruption. I don't think there is another state in the union, Mr. Amu, that is as corrupt as Illinois. And how we all live through this is by the grace of God. So, now what happens?
Right. So, you know, you go through the chief, and by the way, the chief judge, how does a person become a chief judge?
Yes.
It's the judges that put you there.
That's correct.
So how can the chief judge go after those who put him there?
Does that make you not stop to think then? Uh-huh. What is the backslapping and pal and all this stuff? See, all right, you're learning. You're learning. All right.
So next, the matter for me came to a head in one case particularly, which is probably the straw that brought the complaint against me. I represented a cab driver who broke the 2 bones of his leg at the gas station. It's a Citgo gas station. Citgo.
Citgo. Yes, Citgo. Yes.
I filed a lawsuit in that case, a personal injury lawsuit, run of the mill. There was nothing spectacular about it.
Okay.
And I gave it to the sheriff with the summons to serve at the gas station itself.
Okay.
The sheriff, we just paid the sheriff. They've been doing this for decades.
Of course.
They know what to do. Serve agent at Citgo, this gas station.
Okay.
And they went there and gave the cashier to the cashier of the gas station.
Okay.
And we received the report from the sheriff, Cook County Sheriff, that they have served the summons on the agent of the gas station.
Okay.
And for some reason they didn't come to court to answer the complaint, so we moved for default. I moved for default on behalf of my client so we can prove up the damages and we can be awarded money.
Well, he broke his legs or whatever.
Right.
So
when I moved for default, on the day the motion was supposed to be heard, a lawyer came from the insurance company, American Family Insurance, that was representing
them,
right.
The gas station. Okay.
A lawyer came from the insurance company and told the judge to continue the hearing, and the judge continued it. The next hearing date, the lawyer did not come, and we got the default.
Okay.
And I sent the notice by certified mail because there's got to be notice.
Of course.
Because we can't go behind somebody's back and be getting judgment behind their back in court. Everything we're doing in court must be transparent.
Absolutely.
I sent it by certified mail. Green card was signed for and everything. And we got the judgment. And usually I wait about 6 months to try to collect. And then I moved to try to collect on the judgment. And the lawyer called me saying, well, you know what? We don't know who the sheriff served the summons. There is no proper service. What I'm telling you is a true story that links to all that we're saying here. And when she told me that, I believed her. And if there's no proper service, ethics, morality, integrity requires that we throw all of that aside and we begin all over again.
Okay.
But my instinct told me to do something, to call my client and let him know that what we thought we got in our ward is in question. We may have to start all over because this lawyer told me
It wasn't served properly.
the sheriff
Yeah,
of
the
Cook County, not me,
No.
not my special process server,
No.
a Cook County deputy sheriff did not make the proper service as reflected on the proof of service.
Okay.
So my client and I went out there to canvass the place. How did this happen? This is something that they didn't know. Me and my client, I went to that place for the first time ever. As we were there, the cashier came out and recognized my client because my client lives nearby.
Okay.
And he said, "What are you guys looking at?" When I was there, I tried to understand how did this accident happen.
Sure.
First, I was trying to understand that. When the sheriff, the cashier came out and talked to my client and said, "Oh, my client told the cashier, oh, my lawyer is here, and they're trying to understand who did the sheriff give this document."
So,
Not knowing what was going on, the guy didn't have a clear understanding of what's going on first. He said he was the one, the sheriff gave the summons, and he gave it to the owner. I said, "Why did the lawyer tell me this?"
why did
He
he?
didn't take us 3 minutes to get there to know who was served, and it was the cashier, and he himself said that he passed the paper on to the proper entity within the company. So through that visit, I knew that they were stringing us along, that there's something wrong, fundamentally wrong here.
Welcome to Illinois.
You know what I did from that point on? I began to take this type of thing, video depositions, because I knew we were going somewhere in this matter.
Oh, yeah.
The lawyers didn't know that I made the trip to try to canvass the place. So they didn't know. Now we know that there was proper service. But so they are telling us we don't know who was served. That's what they are stringing us. So I knew every deposition in this case is on video, and I have the video as proof in my custody. We went before Judge Egan, and I impressed on Judge Egan that they weren't telling the truth, there was proper service, and I wanted to expose that by subpoena. Every attempt that I made to subpoena was curtailed by Judge Egan.
And did you question him? Why?
I did question.
And
Every attempt I made to uncover this
wrongdoing, yeah.
expose
it.
this wrongdoing
Yeah.
was frustrated by Judge Lynn Egan. Even though, despite that, anybody that reads the transcript of the proceedings or the other depositions I was able to make can add 2 and 2 to know that there was proper service here. These people were simply lying to the court. They were staging a fictitious defense that has no substance in reality. And here we have Judge Lynn Egan giving it credence. So all we were going through for 9 months were really sham hearings.
A sham. That's exactly what it was, a sham.
Sham hearings for 9 months, and Judge Egan was being paid as a judge.
Oh, sure.
The law firm was being paid because they're $1 million firm.
That's correct.
And my client and I, we were going on $0 an hour, parading the courthouse month after month, taking depositions by video. Each video deposition was about $1,000 at my expense. The day of argument came. Of course, I was still hopeful. We argued the case before Judge Egan.
Again before her.
Yeah. She said she didn't rule in front of me or us.
Yes.
She simply said, "I'm going to take it under advisement.
Oh, I was thought of a consideration. Okay. All right, advisement.
He said, I'm going to take it under advisement.
Yes.
This is after 9 months of back and forth motions
Badly.
before her on this issue of whether there was service or there was no service.
Yeah.
She said, I'm going to take it under advisement. Within a couple of days, she faxed to my office the decision, vacating the judgment. So we are back to 0. She said there was no service because the cashier, who didn't really know the import of what he was given.
But he passed it to the owner of the establishment.
Right.
So what difference does that make? Did the man not have the paper in his hand?
You know, this guy told us that when we went out there.
Yes.
When he now came to the sham hearings, now that the lawyers had enlightened him,
Yes.
this cashier now came with
Different.
an interpreter.
Yeah, different.
He didn't speak English now.
Oh, all of it.
He needed to speak Wolof.
Well, with an interpreter. Yes, with an interpreter.
Interpreter.
Yeah.
And now, at deposition, on video, he's not telling, who is a sheriff? I don't know who a sheriff is. Because he's African. The guy is African. He now said that he doesn't know who a sheriff is. I get mails all over the place. I don't know what you're talking about. This is the same person that told us.
Yes, I understand. I hear you loud and clear.
When I read Judge Egan's 2-page decision,
Oh, she gave it to you in 2 pages.
she typed it.
You're lucky. It could be just 3 words or a sentence. That's it.
Well, the 2-page type decision
Yeah.
is really a signal to the higher court.
To make sure that
They will not second guess
Yeah.
what's there.
to make sure they put their foot on you.
Right. The 2-page decision, I was in shock. At that point,
I'm so sorry.
I wrote Judge Egan a letter, confidential letter, because people are saying you are going and talking on the internet. No, that's not it. Up till that point,
Yeah.
nobody knew any of these things other than us lawyers and the judge.
Okay.
I wrote Judge Egan a confidential letter challenging why she's acting in this way. That in light of all of this, why are you ruling like this? That this is corrupt ruling.
How
I wrote her that letter,
and
not even knowing the major issue in the case, not knowing that there was a conflict in the case, that the defense was her brother's law firm. I didn't know any of that.
her brother's law firm?
Yes.
Oh my goodness sakes. Oh, she should have recused herself. Yeah, that's not appropriate.
She should have recused herself, or at least should have told us at the outset
Yes.
and let us consent to that.
That she could step down or you could keep her,
Right,
one or the
okay,
other.
no, recuse. But the defense knew this.
But you not.
Judge Egan knew this.
Of course she knew it.
My client and I
Didn't
we-
know.
We didn't know what was going on. We didn't know that this connection was there, but mind you, I knew that the rulings that she was making, how she was handling this, we were simply going through the motions.
Yes.
These are sham hearings.
Of course.
And I documented that in a letter to her, not knowing who the defense was, who she was in relation to the defense.
The brother. The brother and the sister. Oh my goodness.
So once I got her decision, you know what she did? She vacated the judgment, wrote the 2-page decision, then recused herself.
Oh, that's very good. She should have recused herself first, let another judge make a decision, not she herself.
Right.
Okay.
So she recused herself, meaning if I wanted to file a motion to reconsider her decision,
Yep, she
I
was
couldn't
already-
come back to her
Yeah,
again.
she's gone.
She was gone.
Yes, absolutely.
I had to file it. She recused herself. Then Judge Maddox, who is the next to the chief judge,
Yes.
assigned the case to Judge William Taylor, who is an African-American judge.
Okay.
So if I filed a motion to reconsider what Judge Egan did, I couldn't go back. I could never go back to Judge
her,
Egan again.
no.
I had to now face Judge Taylor. But Judge Taylor is never going to reverse.
No, she
The
already
two-page decision.
she already made her decision.
Right.
Okay.
So I knew that going and arguing anything before Judge Taylor was simply beating a dead horse,
Yes.
wasting my time.
Yes.
I would rather take this whole thing, go to the appellate court, and tell them what is really going on here. Mind you, at this time, I did not know the connection between the defense and Judge Egan.
Okay.
Before God and man, I had
Your Holy Bible.
no
you got the
knowledge,
Bible.
no knowledge of the
No
connection.
knowledge, okay.
I was simply following common sense and logic, knowing that this is not right in the courthouse. Whatever is going on here is fundamentally wrong.
It is
So I
fundamentally wrong.
fundamentally
Absolutely.
wrong.
Yes,
I
yes.
took the whole thing, took it to the Illinois Appellate
Appellate
Court,
Yeah.
thinking once I explain myself, they will see it
You would have exposed it. That's what the problem was.
and they will correct it.
Yeah.
I was mistaken.
Welcome to Illinois.
After filing all the briefs, you know, the appellate process takes about a year. You file all the briefs, you print them. When I got their decision, I was floored. They simply will go around the corner, however odd,
Yes.
however ridiculous.
Sure.
They will string some case law, and they will reaffirm it. And when I got their decision, I said, no, no, no. I moved for a rehearing. That, you know, you guys need to rehear this case. You know what? They snapped my finger. Affirmed. That's when I got curious. Now, what is going on in the court system?
Oh.
Then I began my own investigation.
Oh.
And mind you, this is about 2.5 years after she ruled, after Judge Egan ruled.
Yeah.
About 2.5 years later, then I began to invest. You know, at some point, you just begin to brainstorm. What is going on here? I have to unravel these things. These people cannot beat me in this thing. I was there. I have common sense.
That's right.
I see what's going on in the courtroom. I mean, this is demoralizing. And you know what I will find out? I found out that this defense law firm, Matthew Egan, is one of the owners of this defense law firm.
It's her brother.
And the judge is Lynn Egan.
That's the brother. Brother and sister. Now you see.
I was enraged.
Now you see how easy it is for innocent people. They go to jail. Some are even put to death. And these judges, not saying this judge, but some judges, they go on with everyday life, with everyday happenings, and it's out of their court because, you know, Mr. Amu, they move it down. They move it to somebody else. And then you go again. That's why we all have gray hair, because we stress so the importance of integrity, honesty, legally, the law-abiding citizen. And what did you get? A slap on the hand for telling the truth.
When I found this connection,
Yes.
that Judge Lynn Egan
Is
the sister of one of
the
the owners
attorney.
of the law firm.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Then I took this whole package again. I went to the appellate court. You know what they told me? Oh, we are tired of this case. We're not going to hear this case anymore. Oh, boy. Then I said, okay, I'm going to go to the Illinois Supreme Court.
Okay. Take it a step above.
We filed the same brief. You explain the details to them. They deny your petition for leave to appeal.
Where does this leave you?
The only recourse is to go to the United States Supreme Court, which I went.
And?
They did not take I moved for writ of certiorari. It was not granted. So that's where the whole process, the whole process took about 4 years now, leading to nowhere. Leading to nowhere. And now, I just now moved back and I said, so, you know, in hindsight, once I found the connection between the defense law firm and the judge, and I said, how can Judge Egan do this?
Very easy. They've done it before. You're not the first.
I wrote her a letter challenging what she was doing that should have quickened our conscience, saying, well,
No.
maybe I should call these parties back in the courtroom,
Mr.
explain to them.
You are too honest of a person. If you will look a little closer, you will not only find that there is brother-sister team, one is the judge, one is the attorney, but you will find husband-wife team. They may use different names, but they husband-wife team. Or you may find father-daughter teams. You are really in a state of disruption. You are in a state of corruption in Illinois. And we are offering you this opportunity on this public TV, on cable TV. We are live this evening. It's June the 25th, 2014. And we don't have much time left on this particular airtime, but please watch the YouTube. Go to my YouTube, and you will be able to watch this. If you are a judge, if you are an attorney, if you are anyone in law enforcement, there's my YouTube. Go to that. You'll be able to see this on within a couple of days. And there's others that are on there who have been wrongfully accused, that are serving time in jail, or have unfortunately passed away. If you would like to come on the program, you don't have to talk about yourself or whatever. We can put you behind a screen and no one will know your name, but you can see what this gentleman is going through. Honor, integrity, the utmost of self-respect, and he did not realize that this was it's a tag team match. The judge tags her brother, the brother tags the judge, and they both connect with the other attorneys and the other judges, and they take this man's livelihood away for no reason other than he is honest to be able to spot corruption. Now where do you go?
Well, right now I am taking my message to any and everybody, including you. I am glad that you gave me the platform.
Absolutely.
My story needs to be heard.
It will be, and it is.
What the Illinois Supreme Court is saying, I didn't know that when I became a lawyer. I didn't know that there is a code of silence.
Code of silence.
Lawyers are not supposed to talk.
It's called the brotherhood.
Even though when we went to law school, we are told that we have the First Amendment right.
First Amendment right.
To free speech, freedom of speech.
It's the Constitution.
Freedom of the press.
Yes.
To petition for redress of grievances.
This is true.
It's only in the letter. In the reality of the courts in Illinois, many lawyers are afraid. They are afraid, rightly so, for their livelihood, for their sustenance. If they tell what is really going on, they will pull their license or they will be disbarred. And that is simply not in the best interest of the people of Illinois. The courts, you see, the way things are right now, I think it's wrong. Judges are the ones that determine the fate of lawyers. A lawyer like myself that exposes judicial corruption gets to be judged by the same people that I am accusing of corruption. This is what puts me in the situation I am in.
So what fairness is that?
It's not fair, and I'm saying that the system needs to be reformed.
Of course.
Lawyers are professionals, judges are professionals. In the sphere of the courtroom, lawyers must be empowered just as judges are empowered with respect to policing corruption in the best interest of the people of Illinois. The present arrangement gives the Supreme Court justices the right to sit in judgment of a lawyer that accuses the judges of corruption. Can you tell what's going to happen? Look what happened to me.
Well, can you imagine, as John Q. Public comes into that court with his life in your hands, and your life is in the judge's hands.
Right.
So who do you think is going to win? John Q. Public with his broken leg? You who are coming with honor, integrity, and the American flag? Or the judge that sits above you that has the ability to wipe you out off the face of the earth,
right,
because you are honorable, have compassion,
right,
and are doing the right thing.
Right. And mind you, in the sphere of the courtroom, in the realities of what's happening,
yes,
with all of my 4 degrees, I have a Bachelor of Civil Engineering, Master of Civil Engineering, MBA, JD, and all of that. That is no match for all of these corrupt lawyers who have won millions upon millions.
Oh, absolutely.
They boast of hundreds of millions in X number of years.
Oh, yes.
As though their subpoena is different from my subpoena, or they can speak better than I can speak, when we can all do the same thing. The moment you are in the courtroom with these lawyers, you are no person before these judges.
No.
You're simply wasting you and your client are inhuman, or that you're not even human beings in this courtroom. Everything the corrupt lawyer wants, the judge will do.
Absolutely.
And they will just railroad you out of there. There will be no justice. And that's the important message that I want to get to the American people and the people of Illinois. The courtroom belongs to the people. The judges they have specific duties to do, obligations to be honest, to be transparent, to be accountable. Right now, no one is holding a lawless judge accountable. They are not accountable to anyone. The corruption in the judiciary is a closed system.
It's called a star chamber, and that's what these judges do. Mr. Amu, we don't have much time left, barely. I just want to tell you that this is a business. The judicial system in Illinois is a business. It is a thriving, multi-billion-dollar business that when you come in the courtroom, they will take every penny you have, regardless of where you come from, how you gained your education, your intellect, how hard you worked. Because that's what they're there for, is to take the money. I suggest that everyone watching this program, and we are live, go to my YouTube. You will see this program and other programs similar because of the corruption in Illinois. I gave Mr. Amu this information here. It says, The Anatomy of Judicial Corruption in Illinois, The Forbidden Subject by a Suspended Lawyer, Lanre Amu, his degrees, and to contact him at loamu@aol.com or www.lanreamu.com. A phone number, 773-728-8249. Call this man, talk to this man. If you're law enforcement, we want to hear what you have to say. If you've been badgered or hassled or threatened by the court, we'll get this all together. We'll have you on the program. There is strength in numbers. This gentleman is very courageous to have come on the program. I want to thank you very much, Mr. Amu, for coming on the program. Please shake my hand. It's cold.
Oh,
you have one. Thank you.
Thank God for people like you.
Oh,
thank you.
Thank you. And please watch the program. Let us hear what you have to say. Give us your input, because we trust your judgment. We are the residents of the state of Illinois. We pay the taxes. We put them in power. We can take them out of power. Corruption has no place in power of Illinois. We need to go back to the American way.